Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Stand Your Ground Saturday here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, if nobody else shows up, I'm just going to be the one talking about why the left will never steal our gun rights, ever, and why we're basically heading towards a second American Civil War in this country. If nobody else shows up for the panel tonight, this is only going to be like a half-hour episode, just to be clear on that one. Mostly because I'm just tired, I don't feel well, and it's the main reason why I haven't done a show in the last couple of days, actually. Not to mention I got some family issues going on that I don't really want to discuss on camera, but yeah, needless to say, it's not good. But anyway, so basically, there's some stuff that's happened in the past few days here. You have a bunch of stuff popping off worldwide, it seems like, anymore. Dublin, Ireland had a whole bunch of riots this week, which, good on the Irish for finally taking back their fucking country, it seems like, from all these fucking piece of shit illegals in this nation. And that are being imported into first world nations worldwide is what it is. So basically what happened in that situation was you had some Algerian foreign national who apparently has been living in Ireland for supposedly the past 20 years or so, and was supposed to be considered an integrated person, literally stabbed a bunch of fucking Irish elementary school kids the other day. And it's like, what the fuck, bro? Like, seriously, it's insane. And, yeah, it, again, goes to show exactly why we need to have well-armed societies in every fucking first world nation at this point. And why it's stupid that every country has not had a copy and paste of the Second Amendment of the United States of America is what it is. Because any first world nation should have that on the books right now. They should have the right to self-defense at this point. And the fact they're not doing that shows exactly why they're being foreign invaded like fucking crazy is what it is. And it's exactly why you have the left keep trying to grab gun rights here in America. It's why they keep attacking the Second Amendment and keep losing hard is what it is. I've talked about this several times this week and stuff, and I was going to talk about it several times this week as well, for that matter. We've had many 2A wins this week. You had just a whole bunch of stuff across the board right now. You had I forget which court system it was that finally deemed standard capacity magazines constitutional, and you cannot ban them, is what it is now, which is great because then you can look back, 4 years ago here in Ohio to that fucking douchebag piece of shit, Casey Weinstein, who is a hate-hoaxing sack of shit. And as I've said many, many times on this channel, this fucking asshole who is a current state rep in the state of Ohio, which he should not be, by the way, because he should be in fucking state prison right now for the crap he pulled in this state. Possibly even a federal prison cell for that matter, since he used the USPS system to actually hate hoax himself is what it was. About a month after I was federally swatted back in 2019, September 2019, this asshole literally printed off a bunch of quote-unquote tyrant memes talking about killing tyrants, basically, and then shoved them in his own fucking mailbox. A couple days later, went to a Facebook buy-sell trade site and sold the printer he used to fucking print the shit off with. Like, there's a whole timeline of evidence there. There's a digital fucking trail, by the way, but still 4 years later at this point, that if Attorney General of Ohio Dave Yost wanted to do his job there, he could totally have Weinstein arrested and prosecuted right now for this whole thing. Yet he hasn't done that. Neither have the fucking Fed boys either, for that matter. And it's like, they should be, though, because the guy was illegally using the United States postal system for his own personal fucking hate hoax is what it was. And then was sitting there, and at the same time was trying to disarm American citizens here in Ohio with a magazine ban, with a bullshit Bloomberg-style 10-round capacity ban is what it was, where anything 10 rounds or higher is banned then. Thank God that asshole and Democrat Party never held power here in any capacity, so they could never get it done, unless a whole bunch of Republicans were like, no, we're going to go full rhino and oath-breaking sacks of shit, basically, and destroy, people's rights here, which they didn't, thank God. They, went the complete opposite of that. They've given us now stand your ground. We've now had constitutional carry because of this supermajority here, et cetera, et cetera. And that's exactly why the left will never steal our gun rights is what it is, dude, because you will either have a paradigm shift happen where you'll have the pendulum swing and shit like that, or you will have a straight-up civil war / revolution in this country. And I believe that's what we're heading toward right now. You see everything popping off overseas, whether it be most recently there in Dublin, Ireland, whether it be in Paris and other parts of France, whether it be in different parts of Britain and other parts of the UK and stuff like that, where you have people fighting back. But at the same time now, it seems like in the last, month or so, give or take, since October 7th, so about 6 weeks or so now, I think it's been 6-7 weeks, something like that, since that attack happened there in Israel, you have had all these different things coalesce to where we're actually seeing how many cult of Islam followers are actually in these nations right now that shouldn't be. Because you have all these pro-Palestine marches happening now. And it's like, bro, like, what the fuck kind of thing, But anyway, one thing I did want to talk about, though, which is something that happened this week as well. So you had, I don't know if y'all remember Nashville, almost a year ago now. It's been like 260-something days, not 270 days now, something like that. We still have yet to get the Trinity Festo at this point. But, yeah, you apparently had another nut come out of the woodwork the other day, claiming to be another trans woman. And they almost went another shooting spree is what it was. Not to mention you had the actual manifesto of the piece of shit who did that one attack at that bank the other day, talking about how he fucking was like, oh yeah, I'm totally doing this to get gun control on the books again and kill, and it's basically his whole thing was kill a bunch of rich white people is what it was. Which, ironically enough, pretty sure the people he was talking about killing were rich white leftists, which tend to be the same fucking cocksucking cunts who will sit there and try to grab guns all the time. So, these are the same people that, 50, 60, 70 years ago, 80 years ago even, were behind the Jim Crow laws at the time. They're the ones that stopped minorities, specifically black folks in this country, from being able to have access to guns is what it was. It's why you still have stupid ass shit like pistol permitting stuff on the books. And it's now why you have that being rescinded off the books in places like, most recently, I believe it was North Carolina there. Even though that piece of shit Roy Cooper, who is a fucking raging racist and should have been thrown out of office based on that alone is what it is right now. Like, that's the one thing I disagree with Mark Robinson that he hasn't done that yet. We at the network here, we are endorsing Robinson, by the way, for North Carolina governor next year. And the thing is, though, Robinson as lieutenant governor should have been leading the fucking charge against Roy Cooper in the past year or so right now, because Roy has openly outed himself as a hardcore white supremacist when it comes to all the anti-gun shit that he has set there, and they were going to repeal off the books, and he vetoed the shit for the repeals multiple times, to the point you had to have North Carolina get a supermajority to finally oust the pistol permit purchase crap, which was literally a leftover of Jim Crow. And it's like, this is the problem with Democrats, dude. I don't care if they're white, black, Latino, otherwise, dude. It honestly doesn't matter. You can put any person with a Democrat next to their name in a position of power, and they will always go full authoritarian. They will always go full tyrant. They will always go full gun grabber, etc., etc. And meanwhile, at the same time, we'll sit there and embezzle like a motherfucker. You have so many, specifically, Democrat mayors in this country right now that unfortunately are minorities. And by that I mean legitimately, like, there are so many of them that are black, either black males or black females, that will get into office, and the first thing that they do is they will sit there and they will steal fucking money from the people of that town, of that city is what it is, in tax dollars, because they'll create some bullshit ass fucking position and throw their sister, sister-in-law, brother, brother-in-law, whatever it is to them, into that position. It's some made-up fucking bullshit position that shouldn't exist is what it is, that they're now embezzling money to the tune of like 60, 70, 100,000 plus dollars a year is what it is, and giving it to this individual. And it's all nepotism shit, dude. And the thing is, it's like, you'll see that a lot in politics besides that, too. I think Pelosi's done this with her family in the past, too, as well, if I'm not mistaken. I know she's done with start trading and stuff as well, where she'll give stock tips to her husband, Paul, or his family or something like that, and they'll make a fuck ton of money all the way around is what it is. It's all criminal shit, though, is what it is, dude. And that's the whole point entirely. But it seems to me like the weird part is when you start looking at, it's a lot of these southern states actually that happens in, where you'll have like this red state and then it's like this blue city. And that blue city is run by a black Democrat mayor. And that black Democrat mayor does all kinds of shady shit and starts embezzling money into the pocket of their family members and stuff like that, and isn't ousted from power immediately is what it is. Now, granted, sometimes it's actually, you know, you want to reverse the race roles and stuff like that. Sometimes those white Democrats too, for that matter, dude. But I would say a lot of the times it's more minority Democrats than anything else. And these are the people, by the way, that it's the saddest part of it all is, these are the same individuals that will openly advocate for child mass genocide on demand, aka abortion. Where they will be like, oh, it doesn't matter, you know. They're like, oh, you know, we're not having abortions at 9 months into the fucking pregnancy. Yet, meanwhile, there's evidence of that all the time is what it is now. It doesn't matter if it's 9 months or not, dude. It could be 5 months, could be 6 months in. You know? And even just one instance of it is, like, too much, honestly. But when you keep hearing about it off and on, it's like 10, 20, 30 instances here and there and stuff. Like, there's a pattern there, obviously, dude. And it's just these insane fucking chicks is what it is for the most part. So, you know, mentally fucking cuckoo in the head is what it is. But anyway, speaking of which, we're going to go to diatribing stuff there. Going to this whole article here, which is basically... Trans woman is charged with threatening to copy Nashville school shooting and, quote, rape Christian girls in bathrooms after cops intercepted sick live stream of them saying, I am gonna fucking fuck them until they're dead. Jesus fucking Christ. Says Jason Lee Willie, who identifies as Alexa and Willie, allegedly modeled threats after the transgender Nashville Covenant school shooter. Said charges filed November 7th included threats to kill and rape kids, inject people with HIV, and target black people. And quoting them, said, quote, okay, we're not even going to, no, I'm not even going to say that shit. Not even going to say it. Not worth it, not worth it. You guys can go check out the Daily Mail article on your own there. This is the sick ass shit that they said. Yeah, basically talking about raping people in the bathroom is what it is. Says transgender woman has been charged with threatening to shoot up schools and, quote, rape Christian girls in bathrooms. Said Jason Lee Willie, who identifies as Alexa Ann Willie, allegedly modeled threats after trans Nashville Covenant school shooter, piece of shit Hale. Said Willie, 47 of Nashville, Illinois, was charged in U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Illinois with 14 felony counts of interstate commerce of a threat to injure. Said charges filed on November 7th include threats to rape kids, inject people with HIV, and target black people. Said in one message sent to Illinois, from Illinois to Virginia, while allegedly describing an intention to participate in a school shooting and claimed immunity from the FBI. It said, quote, we're out here walking into your school, shooting your children, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is a quote from this person, it said, I'm going to be one of them, and the FBI isn't going to stop me, but I'm going to kill your kids out there, Willie said, according to an indictment. Okay, so this is a problem right now, right? So you have this one person, and this is just one of many, by the way, that talks about doing this shit. This individual in this case, thank God, was indicted on all this shit. How many of these leftist nuts, though, are still out there right fucking now that haven't had a damn thing against them right now, dude, and are 100% going to be a fucking threat like that? And that's the thing, right? Like, as somebody myself who has been federally swatted in the past by piece of shit federal agents in this point in history, I can tell you firsthand, dude, they were looking at people like me as low-hanging fruit because we were right-wing individuals. Yet, meanwhile, we were never going to do anything at all. Anything we ever said was just that. It was fucking just saying shit. Yet meanwhile, you have actual fucking psychotic leftists out here, people that should be legitimately in rubber rooms and insane asylums, going out there doing actual fucking massacres. Being an actual fucking threat. Not being threat assessed, by the way, with actual fucking door knocks or anything like that, dude. But being actual fucking threats. Let shit happen there because the fucking feds are a goddamn joke at this point. Because they're too busy chasing their own fucking tails. They're too busy fucking with people from January 6th, God forbid. You know, like they said the other day with the U.S. Air Marshal thing is what it was. You got no air marshals on the fucking planes this week is what it was. Because they're too busy fucking with people that were either in or around Washington, D.C. around January 6, 2021. Didn't have to be at the Capitol, by the way, from the people that admitted that shit. It was like, oh, if they were just in the geographical locations and stuff, they're just being targeted by air marshals now. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, seriously, what in the fuck? And yet, meanwhile, you have actual fucking threats out there like this piece of shit, Willie, who is 100% a leftist nut, dude. Who, in any other time period in history, this fucker would have been literally drug off in a fucking straitjacket by a couple of men in white coats, thrown in the back of a fucking van, and driven off to a local fucking nut house and thrown in a rubber room the rest of their damn life. And probably got some fucking zaps in the head with electroshock therapy and shit like that, honestly. But yet we're not doing that these days, dude. Why? Oh, because we're more humane now. Because, oh, that shit is considered fucking whatever the fuck they want to call it now. You know, corporal punishment or fucking, you know, crimes against humanity or something like that. That's what I'm sure they call it or something like that, you know. Now, granted, am I going to say it's not? It depends. I mean, it could be considered torture, honestly. But the entire point is, it's like, you know, at one point in history, that was not considered that, dude. I mean, hell, they used to throw fucking, like, people who were clearly schizophrenic into fucking ice baths back in the day. Like, they would toss them into a fucking bunch of cold water and just throw a shitload of fucking ice on top of them to, like, sort of chill them the fuck out is what it was. Now, granted, mind you, that was back in, like, the 1600s, something like that. It was in the time period of that show Chapel Wharf, because I was watching that the other day is what it was. So whatever time period that was set in, I think it was like 1514 or 1634 or something like that. So it was like several hundred years ago is what it was. But even still, it's like, yeah, at some point in history, you had that shit. I mean, hell, you used to have like, that was the thing. Back in our founding fathers' day, the worst thing you could do is call a doctor, because literally the whole fucking thing with doctors back in those days is they'd be like, you have too much blood in you. We have to bloodlet you now. And they would fucking cut you open. They would like fucking slice on you and shit like that and like bleed some fucking blood out of you and call that medical care. It's like, bro, like, there were some fucked up time periods in history. I'll tell you that right now, dude. But then again, that was back when you didn't really have medical professionals, what it was. And that's the problem. Like, people didn't understand shit back then. At the same time, though, you now have a situation in history where we understand certain things, and there are definitely people that never need to be out in the general public ever again. And if you're going to sit there and be all kinds of nuts and shit like that, dude, you need to be fucking locked away is what it is. And that's what I've said many times. The worst thing that President Trump ever did was not do a whole bunch of fucking sweeping legislation that would have locked up a bunch of leftist nuts back in 2020 or so. Actually, really after the midterms is what it was in 2018. There should have been forced institutionalization of leftists at that point, dude. I mean that seriously. You should have had people who were clearly a fucking threat to our society, who were a bunch of fucking nut job leftists, a bunch of Antifa types and stuff like that. You should have had them literally just like back in the day, 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago, something like that. Fucking drug off in a straitjacket someplace. And we would have been so much better off as a country right now. So, anyway. Let's see, where's that now? So yeah, speech just say the FBI wouldn't stop him and stuff like that, even though apparently it seems like that's a killer who stopped it there. It said, online video call. Willie also threatened to rape Christian daughters in bathrooms and criticize the Republican Party. Now we're not going to read their quote there. Oh, nice. So apparently this person openly admitted the hell was this person's name again? Jason Lee Willie, aka Alexa N. Willie, openly admitted by their own admission that they were a fucking child molester. Right there. Wow. And that's the problem, dude, right? Like, how is this person not catching charges before this is the real question, honestly. It's just insane, dude. It really is. So additionally, Willie threatened to inject HIV into people wearing crosses. Jesus Christ, man. This person's a fucking nut. So they also targeted black individuals, likening them to white supremacists, according to Daily Wire. So Willie said, quote, they're trash, they're Christian trash, they're transphobic, they're homophobic. There is no difference than the fucking white supremacists. That's exactly who the fuck they are. Said Dave Chappelle and all the other blacks out there, all the black people out there talking about trannies and shit. They ain't no different than the white supremacists either. You all bow to the same cross. Wow, what a fucking nut job, dude. Let's see. It said, while celebrating the mass shooting in March 2023, where a biological woman who identified as male killed 6 Christians. This piece of shit was quoted as saying, a person in Tennessee walked into one of your schools and shot up a bunch of your Christian daughters. That's not the last time. It's not the last of them. If you don't shut your fucking mouth, Willie said, according to an indictment. Said, quote, there's a lot of transgenders out here that are tired of being picked on, and we're going to go into schools and start killing your kids out there. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. What a complete fucking psycho, dude. Like, okay, so this again, and this is stuff I've talked about before, man. Like, there was a video I was watching the other day, actually. It was from Buck Angel, who, by the way, is a good person, by the way, on that one, for those who don't know who Buck Angel is. A little backstory about Buck Angel, for those who know who that is. So Buck Angel was actually born a biological female, and then over decades of their life transitioned into a trans man. Honestly, if you looked at this motherfucker, they look like a dude, legitimately. They got full fucking beard going on. They got, the voice has been, I was going to say downgraded or toned down or whatever the case be from all the testosterone in their system is what it was. And the thing is, like, they took decades of their life to live their life as a man and shit like that. And, they've had a double mastectomy and stuff like that, etc. And, they've done, I believe it's trans porn in the past is what it was or something. So, yeah, like, that's their claim to fame. And they've also done, various collaborations with Blair White and stuff over the years now. And Buck is an interesting individual because, and I'm gonna call them like they are, dude, because that is a fucking man at this point, dude. With the exception that they technically still have a pussy. Now, granted, because of all the hormone drugs that they've been on over the years, I'm sure they could never actually biologically produce what it is there. Not to mention the fact that I think they're over the age anywhere right now where they could no longer have children because of menopause and stuff like that. So, anyway, the whole point is, though, Buck was actually posting something on their Twitter account the other day, and he was saying something about how he was talking about all these leftist nuts in the transgender community is what it was, dude. And he's right about that. And that's the problem, dude. Like, you'll have like one or two of these people, whether it be a Buck Angel or a Blair White type or whatever the case be. And for every one or two of those people, you have like 20 to 50 just fucking psychotic lunatics out there is what it is, who, by their own admission, just like this Willie person's admission, they are fucking child molesters, dude. They are literal fucking pedophiles that have not been caught and charged with child sex crimes at this point. Now, granted, does that mean every single transgender person is a pedophile? No, it does not. And that's the entire point I'm trying to make right there. That's the distinction I'm trying to make right here. is you have these good people on one side of the political aisle, your Buck Angel types, your Blair White types, etc. And then you got these fucking nuts like this Jason Lee Willie piece of shit who was talking about shooting up schools and raping kids and stuff, dude. And it's like, what in the fuck, man? And then again, going back to what we've talked about in the past there, where you have that whole, Trans Day of Vengeance, which was supposed to be a Trans Day of Remembrance is what it was there, and then they turned into like this whole Trans Day of Vengeance last year and shit, where they were trying to basically have the Antifa types that were all, identify as transgender and stuff like that, basically go on ass-beating sprees and like various fucking terrorist attacks is what it was basically entirely. And it's just fucking insane, dude. It really is. It's just completely fucking psychotic. Absolutely fucking psychotic. So anyway, and this piece of shit claimed that we're at war. Yeah, they're at war because they're fucking starting a war is what it is, dude. That's the whole point I've been saying this whole entire time, dude. If and when the Second American Civil War kicks off, or Second American Revolution, or some variation thereof is what it is, it's not going to be a bunch of right-wingers kicking that shit off, dude. It's going to be a bunch of fucking leftist nuts like this piece of shit Willie here, who go fucking full lunatic, try to go shoot up a school, get shot in the process, whatever the case be. And then meanwhile, it's going to be like this whole, pendulum swing where it just turns into this whole fucking shit show then, where it's like, yeah, you fuckers have this brought on yourselves at that point, dude. Like, you're sitting there talking about being the victim, yet meanwhile, you're victimizing everybody is what it is. It's like that old meme where it's the fucking, like, person getting smacked in the head with the fucking boot or whatever the case be, and then you look at, like, the zoom out or whatever of it there, and it's them with their hand in the fucking boot, like, putting it on their own head is what it is, or putting it on their own neck is what it is there. And that's exactly what the left is in a nutshell, dude. It's a bunch of lying fuckers is what it is, dude. It's a bunch of pieces of shit, hate hoaxing scumbags, a bunch of fucking psychotic fucking lunatics claiming to be transgender, etc. there, who are really just a bunch of child molesters in disguise is what it actually is. And unless they are stopped, they will go on killing sprees. And they will do all kinds of crazy shit. And it's not going to stop until we actually repeal shit like the Gun-Free School Zones Act of 1990 is what it is. That was one of the worst pieces of legislation ever introduced in this country's history. And for over 33 fucking years now, that piece of shit legislation has led to nearly every fucking massacre that has happened in this country, because almost every single massacre happens in a gun-free zone. So, anyway. Finishing up the rest of this article, though, it said, in response to this indictment, Willie warned of further attacks on Christian girls if certain actions weren't taken. It says Willie faces trial on January 16, 2024, after being released on $0 bond multiple times, citing Illinois' Safety Act. What a bunch of shit, dude. And again, that's the fucking problem right there. Whoever came up with that Safety Act bullshit right now, I'm pretty sure it's that piece of crap J.B. Pritzker. That fucking guy has been brought up on charges for conscious community at this point, dude, because he is actively allowing pieces of shit like this Willie asshole back on the fucking streets and all that crap right there, dude. Anyways, federal prosecutors noted Willie's release after mocking police during a prior arrest, emphasizing safety concerns and latent repercussions. It says released from state custody on August 17th. Willie's roommate reported concerns about firearms training on August 24th, a week later. So this comes nearly 8 months after transgender school shooter, piece of shit, opened fire on Covenant School, killing 3 kids and 3 adults. This report released 4 months later also revealed the Nashville Christian school shooter had mysterious handwritten notes on their clothes, a knife inscribed with her own chosen name, and an anklet with the number 508407 etched on it. That's weird. Well, that's interesting. That's the first I'm hearing about that stuff. Interesting. What a piece of crap. It's an autopsy report revealed that piece of shit's clothing was covered in handwritten words, drawings, and numbers. It's unclear what the writing what was written on their clothes. So the report also noted that Hale 28 wore an orange plastic anklet with the mysterious inscription 508407. That actually reminds me of that one number, that set of numbers from Lost, where it was like that repeating station or whatever. It kind of reminds me of that shit. So the autopsy was released as debate escalated over the decision to release the manifesto and other writings of Hale, which were recovered from the crime scene in the parents' home. Said the report noted that Hale's identified as a trans male, but was listed as female officially. So the medical examiner determined Hale's cause of death by homicide by gunshot wounds. Toxicology found no dissension of drugs or alcohol in their system. Hale opened fire on an elementary school in Tennessee on the morning of March 27th, killing 6 people, including 3 9-year-old kids. It said, with a gun in hand, Hale shot down the door of Nashville area school and stalked the hallways before opening fire on their victims. Hale murdered Haley Scruggs, William Kenny, Evelyn Dickhouse, all 9 years old, and headmistress Catherine Coons, substitute teacher Cynthia Park, and chef Mike Hill, who was 61. I thought that guy was the custodian, actually. I didn't realize he was the chef that day. Interesting. Again, had any of these adults been carrying 60 years old, 61 years old, 61 years old? So they used three of 7 legally purchased guns to carry out the shooting. Hale did. So transgender artist had a detailed map of the building and conducted surveillance outside the school they once attended before carrying out that devastating massacre, etc., etc. And that's it for that article then. So, anyway. Yeah, just crazy shit, though, man. And like I said, this is the problem with these fucking leftist nuts, is what it is, dude. They are a bunch of fucking psychotic lunatics who are going to go on killing sprees as long as we let them. And this is the issue when you don't have proper threat assessing of these fucking individuals. Yet, meanwhile, you have the feds go on whole fucking, like, week-long fucking illegal search and seizures and stuff like that of people like myself is what it is. That we're never going to do anything in the first place. That said some fucking words that, oh my god, thought crime. It's such bullshit entirely, dude. And I'm so fucking sick and tired of all of it. And then, of course, you got fucking New York going all nuts this week. You had that piece of shit Kathy Hochul create Rule 2.31, I think is what it's called. And it was actually something that was going through the court system there, that you can now illegally detain people for any reason, for any virus, for any amount of time. Literally creating concentration camps to stay in New York is what it is right now. And at the same time, you got Kathy trying to grab guns and shit. So, yeah, it's just fucking insane, dude. Actually, to sort of stir away from the gun thing for a second there, I do want to mention something actually that I was watching a little bit ago before I started this chat. I like to watch that whatever podcast, the clips from it and stuff like that. I did not know this until now. Apparently, I guess there is a thing when it comes to DNA and stuff like that, where I guess every dude a chick has been with, there is a possibility that that dude's DNA could become part of a future child that you would have with a woman if any other dude nutted up inside that chick before that. That's fucking disgusting, by the way. I'm not even gonna lie, dude. And it kind of makes sense when you think about it, why we have so many leftist nuts these days, it seems like. Because who's to say that their moms weren't promiscuous as fuck back in the day and didn't have sex with, 20, 30, 40 guys or something like that. And because of that, you basically have the DNA of anywhere from 5 to 20 fucking dudes inside of these people is what it is there. And it's just these weird connections that aren't really connected is what it is. And it's neurons firing to empty parts of a brain or something like that, for that matter, kind of like Biden style is what it is. It would actually make sense when you think about it, dude. And it also makes sense given the fact how many hormone drugs are in the fucking water supply these days. So, of why kids seem to be so much more insane, why kids seem to be so much more into the whole transgenderism thing, etc. there, because you have, legitimate estrogen all over the fucking things, not to mention the mimickers and stuff like that, and all these plastics and shit that all these kids are, sucking in their systems every single day is what it is. So it's like, yeah, it makes sense why you have a girl who is, 8, 9, 10 years old or something like that, having fucking puberty already, 3, 4 years early is what it is. And yet, meanwhile, you have all these dudes that are super, feminine now, and they're having delayed puberties until they're like 16, 17 years old is what it is in a lot of cases. So, yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense, man. Makes a whole lot of sense now. So, anyway. But, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed nobody showed up tonight, but it's not surprising. I only threw it out there a couple hours ago, but it is what it is, man. I know there's a couple people on right now doing next to nothing, so it's whatever, man. So, anyway. Apparently, I guess President Trump is planning on meeting with that Javier guy that won Argentina's presidency the other day. Probably looking for tips on how to be more hardcore is what it is. I'm guessing for 2024 is what it is there, man. Because you look at that Javier guy, that dude's a fucking... It makes sense why they call that guy a madman, dude, because that dude's legitimately just like, no, fuck all your woke shit. We're tossing it off the board entirely. Go fuck yourself. That's what Trump should have been, by the way, in 2020, man. He would have 100% won, even with the fucking cheating, honestly. So, anywho. But, yeah. The left will never steal our gun rights, is what it is, dude. They can try all they want, but we'll always win. There's a reason why you had that piece of shit BM 114, the fucking Oregon ballot measure, get knocked down by some judge this week. There's a reason why you had other stuff get knocked down this week, including the ban on standard capacity mags. That's why you got assault weapons bans going through the courts right now and being fucking deemed unconstitutional. That's why you got all kinds of stuff being, basically knocked down, dragged out is what it was. Because it's all bullshit, dude. Gun control, by definition, is all about control. It always has been, it always will be. And it's always by the big bags in this country. And there's a reason why they'll have Democrat next to their name, dude. And if they don't, then the rhino sack shit globalist is what it is, like Mitt Romney. And I specifically bring that asshole up because he was bitching about, if Trump becomes the nominee, I'm going to have to vote Democrat. You're already a fucking Democrat, asshole. Just change your party affiliation to that already and be done with it, you fucking douchebag. Your stupid fucking cunt niece, Ronna McDaniel, is the worst RNC chair in U.S. history, period, bar none. This bitch is literally embezzled, like I said earlier, with the black Democrats that do it, fucking mayoral races and stuff like that, dude, and positions there in mayorships and stuff. Ronna's doing it at a fucking whatchamacallit level here. Because this bitch is embezzling fucking money from the RNC, donations from the people into the RNC there, and acting like it's her fucking personal piggy bank. She can go on fucking jet-setting flights and do all kinds of fucking Nair and hair appointments and shit like that. And just literally take fucking money from the damn RNC, take money out of the fucking RNC donation dollars, embezzling it into her own fucking pocket for her own personal fucking benefit is what it is, dude. That bitch should be in jail right now for several dozen federal felonies, honestly. And so should her fucking ass clown uncle Mitt Romney. So, anyway. Enough is enough of all this fucking shit, dude, entirely. It's time to buck the system all the way around. That's what it is, man. And, knock them both out eventually. Start with Democrats and then finish off with Republicans. And then we have, 50-something new fucking political parties come up to the ball plate then. And you actually have those ones be finally recognized as like actual mainstream parties. Then is what it is then. And we have a true representation of what we actually are as a constitutional republic and not just a bunch of fucking idiot morons being like, our democracy this and our democracy that. We're not a fucking democracy, you fucking retards. We've been a constitutional republic since 1776. What we have is a Democrat voting process within that constitutional republic as things like the 19th, 26th Amendments, etc. You dumb fucks. Do some basic history, research, actually learn something for God's sakes. Maybe you wouldn't be a complete fucking moron. And it's as simple as that. Anyway, I'm pretty much done. The heater's kicking back on now because it's getting cold in this house again. I'm going to try to go do some things and then probably go to sleep for a while is what it is. I'm not feeling the greatest right now, honestly. Like I said, the weather change keeps like shifting is what it is. The last week or so is what it is right now, where it's going like 20 degrees higher and then it's going like 20 degrees lower in the time span of like less than 12 hours. And this weather changing where it's going from like high 40s or low 50s to like low 30s and shit, or even high 20s for that matter, is really affecting my joints and stuff, my inflammation really bad in my joints. So yeah, there's a reason why I haven't been on lately. Not to mention I'm also suffering some personal health problems I don't want to talk about on camera is what it is. And also family, close family for that matter, is also having health issues right now that I don't really want to talk about on camera either for that matter. So yeah, things are not good right now, man. But I will be back tomorrow for a Honda's Sunday Gay Frog chat if he has it, as long as he has it. And we'll talk about the AR then, if that be the case. And then obviously we'll be back on this channel probably Monday or Tuesday, I think, for a grandstand, or I might do like a weekly update for Walking Dead Survivors game that I play or something. There's been some interesting developments in the last couple of days with that whole thing. I'm pretty sure that second region is just becoming a shit show at this point, because it definitely feels like this TNT team is definitely like Aqua was back in the day in 134 and stuff like that. So if it's going to be like that, I'm not even going to bother playing on that account anymore at all. And I'll just flip the thing and it'll just be my main 3 that I focus on then every day, and I'll just let that one fall to the wayside then, if that be the case. So anyway, but yeah, needless to say, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. And I think we're definitely in for some interesting times ahead. I look forward to seeing what happens whenever things finally do pop off and stuff like that, and how close we are to actual something happening right now, because I think we're definitely anyway. Sorry, I got distracted by something on Discord there. I think it's some idiot having a discussion with somebody else is what it is, but my thing just happened to be in the middle of them is what it was there, and I'm just like, is this motherfucker talking to me, or is he talking to somebody else then? But anyway, if he is talking to me, he can go fuck himself on that one. But yeah, I think he's talking to a different guy. That is what it is there. So it is what it is, man. Let's see. We're going to check Twitter real quick, see if something else is popping off or not. Huh. Okay, so this one's pretty interesting. So we have, like I said, with the Dublin riots and stuff like that the other day, you have some shit popping off in France now, where we have the French people take to the streets to demand justice for the 16-year-old teen Thomas, who was stabbed to death for being white. Patience is running out all across Europe. Not surprising. Not surprising at all. Really not surprising at all. Then we got teacher forced to hide in a locked room while a mob of students riot after they learned she attended a pro-Israel rally happened at a high school in Queens, New York. Jesus. And again, that goes to show everything we're talking about right now, dude, with the shit about to go crazy in this country, honestly. So... Huh. Damn. Can't show that. Let's see. We got Ireland no longer belongs to Ireland, according to illegal alien piece of shit Islamic terrorist. Yeah, that guy can go fuck himself, dude. Let's see here now. Got Andy No 9 hours ago. Antifa militants, November 24th, targeted Starbucks during daytime with impunity in the Capitol Hill area of Seattle, area where the Chaz was in 2020. So they harassed customers inside as they vandalized the windows with messages of pro-Palestine. Jesus fucking Christ. I love how these retards think that they are the fucking the right side of history in this country when they're clearly not. Like, dude, God is going to judge these people so fucking hard. And by that, I mean the right hand of God is going to judge these people through the right hand of patriots of this country. When the Civil War finally does break out, man, Antifa and BLM, etc., ain't going to exist after the first 24 hours, man. For real. You're going to have these fuckers get murked out so goddamn fast by a bunch of pipe-hitting motherfuckers that are a bunch of ex-veterans of this country. It's going to be a fucking... Dude, it's going to be a fucking bloodbath. Like, if these fuckers realized what was coming, they would just keep their goddamn mouth shut and just fuck off is what it is, dude, entirely. Because things will happen very, very soon, and when they do, it's going to not be good for them is what it is, man. So... Apparently Trump attended one of the games today. All right, let me see here now. Oh, that's actually a great one. So I'm not going to show the video itself here. I just want to talk about the actual video itself for a minute here before we go tonight. And this goes to show exactly why you don't talk to cops without lawyers, by the way. So you have this woman here in a like one-piece bikini or whatever it was there. And now, mind you, this whole body cam footage was from 2 years ago. It was back some point in the summer of 2021 there. I think it was in Florida, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong about that one. It was some beach area, though. It was either Florida or maybe it was like Myrtle Beach or something like that, South Carolina area or something. But anyway, so basically there was this female out on the beach who was caught doing some stuff. And then she was talking to the cops, and the cops are like, hey, were you doing some stuff? And she's like, oh, what do you mean? Somebody saw me doing some stuff? And her dumbass is so fucking stupid. And it's like, honey, this is why you have the right to remain silent. Simply say to the police, I will not say anything without a lawyer, and then just stop talking. But no, instead she fucking is openly admitting that she was fucking having an orgasm in front of some family on the fucking beach. Where she took out a fucking vibrator, like one of the little egg ones or whatever, like shoved it into her fucking pussy, and was getting off on the beach or whatever someplace. Or like in the water on the beach, whatever it was there. And then they arrested her for like lewd and indecent exposure or something like that is what it was. Because supposedly like one of the family members saw it or something like that and said some shit to somebody, and then they called the cops what it was there. And it's like, no, man, you deny, and you keep your fucking mouth shut until the lawyer comes. And if nothing else, if you want to admit to the lawyer, like, yeah, you were doing that stuff, but even still, they could be like, yeah, my client has something to say is what it is or something, dude. Like, that's the whole point. This is the entire point of having a lawyer, and you don't talk to the fucking cops about anything, dude, because then you catch a charge. And the worst thing about this situation is, this is the kind of person that now, because of that shit, she is most likely going to be on a sex offender registry the rest of her life for just doing some dumb shit like that. And now everybody's going to think she's a fucking child molester, dude. And that's the exact problem with sex offender registries in this country, which is exactly why, truthfully, and I've said this for well over a couple of decades now, there should be two different kinds of registries we have in this country. There should be the sex offender registry and there should be the sex offense registry. One of the two should be one for like peeping. I believe it's the sex offense maybe. Yeah, okay. So it'd be sex offense registry would be something where it's like the peeping Tom tip people or whatever the case be, where it's like, you know, some dude just creeping up through a window or whatever the case be. Or it's you know, like something like this chick right here where it's like lewd and decent exposure kind of shit or whatever. And then you have an actual sex offender registry, which is just hardcore child molesters and stuff like that are just put on that, but they're never actually let out of prison ever again is what it is then. So we'd be much better off as a society than if that were the case. But yeah, it's just so dumb. So dumb. But yeah, as Mr. Guns and Gear said about 12 hours ago, he said, videos going viral for obvious reasons. Also deserves as a reminder not to talk to police. If this woman just said nothing, she very likely wouldn't have been arrested. Instead, she admitted on camera, and it was taken away in handcuffs. Her dumbass was masturbating in front of kids is what it was. Yeah, she's just an idiot, dude, is what it is entirely. She's just a dumbass. Okay, apparently Trump was at the Clemson, South Carolina game today. So, yeah, that one was just dumb. She's just stupid. So, yeah, anyway. And again, this is the problem. Whoa, that's impressive. This dude was apparently flinging playing cards so fast that it was able to slice through shit like Gambit style. It's pretty badass, dude. Not even gonna lie. Oh, actually, we will actually talk about this one as we end off tonight. Right now, good old cheater ass Katie Hobbs. Here is how Katie Hobbs jammed, rigged, and stole 2 elections, all on surveillance footage. Maricopa County officials illegally breaking into sealed machines after they were tested, reprogramming and reinstalling them. Election day, 59% of machines shut down on election day in GOP areas. Yep, and that's exactly what it is right there. And that's exactly what we must audit every single election going forward, dude, because they're all a bunch of damn cheaters when it is that they have Democrats next to their name. Truthfully, at this point, I don't believe there are many Democrats at all that are legally elected into office right now, dude. They're either, if they are, they're in super gerrymandered districts that are so fucking blue, you're never going to have anybody else from those areas. Or if it's something where it's a contested race for like a high level position, whether it be a Senate race or governorship or something else for that matter, a presidency even for that matter, you're going to definitely have a bunch of cheating going on. That's what it is from Democrat Party. Okay. This apparently was the person that was being talked about that the French were going nuts over right now. So we're going to talk about this, and I think we'll end off today with that one. Said a week ago, 18 innocent French citizens were stabbed during a music festival. A teen boy was killed named Thomas. Said during the attack, a gang member yelled that they came to stab white people. Authorities still have not released the names of these piece of shit illegal aliens. We all know why. Yeah, exactly. And that's why the French people are getting pissed and finally going fucking nuts is what it is, dude. As they should be. As they should be. And again, this is the problem when you allow a corrupt-ass, globalist fucking agenda, piece of crap prime minister, president, whatever the hell you want to call that person over there, that's your elected leadership is what it is there, which in many cases is selected leadership, by the way, just like that piece of shit Macron 100% is. This is why you never allow these fuckers to disarm your asses, dude. Just like the same thing with that fucking scumbag in Ireland that's the prime minister there, that Leo Varadkar, or what the fuck his name is there. This fucking asswipe in a country of Ireland that is 94% white wants to sit there and talk about fucking diversity and having too many white people in their fucking general chambers and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, fuckface, then resign, you fucking piece of shit, white man. You fucking anti-white racist asshole, douchebag, fucker. But oh no, you're not going to do that because you're a fucking scumbag, dude. And that's the entire point entirely. So instead, you're going to use these Dublin riots now to make some bullshit hate crime laws up to fuck over white people in that state, in that nation state is what it is there. So, yeah, honestly, the best thing Ireland could do right now, dude, is just fucking remove this fucker from office and by force if that be the case. If nothing else, do a forced recall on his ass or something, dude, and get his ass out of your prime ministership right now, and elect somebody in there like a Javier or a Gert Wilders type or something like that, dude. Somebody who actually gives a shit about your country and isn't going to fuck around and allow a bunch of fucking Islamic takeovers to happen there. And for those wondering why I'm so, irate about the whole thing here, my family lineage on both sides is Irish. Both my mother and my father's side both originate from Ireland. It was great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents were originally Irish. So, yeah, I have a special place in my heart for Ireland, dude, just like I have a special place in my heart for Poland, which is another part of my lineage and my heritage, my legacy, etc. So, yeah, you ever want to talk shit about Polish people? You ever want to talk shit about Irish people, dude? Like, them's fighting words, motherfuckers. So, but anyway, I definitely think we're very, very close in this current timeline of history to another 1789 happening right now. And for those who don't know what 1789 was, it was the year that the French Revolution happened, where you had people pulling out guillotines and lobbing motherfuckers' heads off. Which, by the way, for those that don't know, the movie Beauty and the Beast with Belle actually happened right in the time period right before the French Revolution happened. So, needless to say, while Disney portrays that story all well and good and a neat little package and stuff like that of like, oh yeah, it's a happily ever after. It's like, no, it was not happily ever after for them, dude. They were ripped out of that castle a couple years later, and their heads were literally being lobbed off in a fucking guillotine, legitimately. So, yeah, there was not anything good there at all, man. The worst thing Belle ever did was marry the guy that was the Beast, honestly, dude, because she did not make it out of that one alive more than a couple years, man. Before she was killed by a bunch of angry villagers and stuff like that. So that was actually the one problem with the French Revolution, though, was you had people got so bloodthirsty back then that it started out as like a thing where it was like, kind of like kill the corrupt leadership is what it was. And then it was basically just like, it sort of went into like this weird like communist socialist collective is what it was then. Where it was like, oh, this motherfucker over here has a problem with us, decapitating people. Well, decapitate them too, kind of thing. And so what you ended up having was you had a lot of shit where it was, I believe it was the first or secondary leadership of that actually led the whole French riots and stuff like that became the revolution there. They end up being a lot of the people that were like 5th, 6th, 7th on the chopping block then. After all the leadership was dead, like all your corrupt elected leaders were all gone and stuff like that because they were, denogonized and stuff. You had these people that originally led the shit were like, okay, we can stop now. And everybody's like, no, fuck that, keep going. And yeah, they end up being the people that, it kept going with. So, not good for them. Actually, there was a great scene in the show Carnival Row. It was the second season of that series. Which, by the way, that was such a great series that they fucked up so bad, dude. And it was mostly because of the lockdown stuff. But at the same time, it was not only lockdown stuff, it was that second season went like full woke and gay and everything else like that. Pretty sure it was directed by Kathleen Kennedy, but who the fuck knows? But yeah, there was a scene, I think it was the first episode of the second season of that show, where you had all these people basically being charged with high treason and stuff like that. And instead of it being like straight down guillotine, it was like this crazy like pendulum guillotine that just like you just had like 10 people's heads that just went, and it was just like swoosh, everybody done in one shot kind of thing. And I feel like honestly, if there was going to be something nowadays that happened where it was like a French Revolution 2.0 or whatever kind of deal, it would probably be some kind of guillotine like that, honestly, where it wouldn't be just like a straight up and down one. It would be like a crazy like pendulum swinging side to side one or something. And you would just have a bunch of like, you know, makeshift little wood boards that people's heads in and shit like that. And it's just like right across the fucking, you know, swipe left, swipe right, whatever the case be there. Where it just gets, you have like some kind of like I want to say in that case, it was some kind of like a rope or something was attached to, and they just like drop the rope to like let it go swinging then or whatever. So anyway, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens though. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened in the next couple of years though right now, especially with everything kicking off now that you got, you know, all these foreign invaders, you know, killing people in various nations, whether it be in Ireland, whether it be in France, etc., that have no business being in these countries to begin with. So anyway, and of course, you know, the longer things happen here in America, I think you're going to have more people inclined to just, you know, fight back with the Second Amendment is what it'll be then. And of course, that'll eventually lead to a civil war here is what it'll be. So anyway, my best advice to everybody right now that we're in, you know, after Thanksgiving here, going into Christmas now, gear up as much as possible, man. If you don't have the tools ready right now, whether that be guns or magazines or ammo or whatever the case be, or, you know, maybe you're missing a little bit of a med kit or something like that, just in case something happens, you got to treat like gunshot wounds and stuff. You know, get what you need to get, man. Whether if that be some quick clot, if that be some fucking, you know, just bandages and stuff like that, maybe, you know, some iodine stuff or whatever the case be, whatever there. You know, or even just making a basic first aid kit kind of thing or something like that. Now is the time to get that stuff while you still can, honestly. So, and obviously learning how to do, you know, compression dressings and stuff like that as well if you need to go that route and whatnot, dude. Because you never know if something's happening and you're going to have to be the person that applies some kind of a tourniquet kind of deal, whatever the case be, and you know exactly how to do it the proper way is what it is then, under pressure and shit. So, anyway, that being said, that's pretty much where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow for Honda's Gay Frog chat on his channel. And other than that, best thing I can say to everybody is stay strapped. Make sure you don't get clapped. And I will be out and about next couple of days doing some things here. If anybody wants to have a chat with me, I'd like to talk with anybody who wants to talk with me or whatever the case be. Just hit me up on the emails and stuff like that, man, or call me or whatever the case be. So, with everything going down currently, family health wise, I'd like to have some support there, is what it is. So, anyway. But that being said, that's where we're at for the day, though. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later, y'all.